Welcome to Revolutionary Health, the show that focuses on Black gay men's health and wellness. I'm your host, Michael Ward. Thank you for joining us another week. This week, we're going to be talking about being Black, gay, and out at work. So as always, we love to hear from you all. Your comments, leave them below, but make sure you subscribe. Follow us on our social media, on Twitter, at Building Desire, Facebook, and Instagram, The Counter Narrative. So thank you for joining us another week. So tune in. So this is actually my first job where I've been Black, gay, and out at work, which is really exciting for me. Like, I'm a total loss claims specialist, so I'm working in the auto industry. So I didn't necessarily really have a formal coming out story or process or get outed, anything like that. I think for me, it was just being Black and gay at work. A lot of times I would show up to work with my hoodie on, the Counter Narrative hoodie, the Bayard and Baldwin hoodie, and I just wanted to be like, hey, I'm Black and gay. Finding support in the workplace for me was like really interesting this time because it's like the first time that I'm out at work. So one of the coworkers I work with introduced me to what's called the Pride Employee Resource Group, which probably is like one of the best things for me. So working with Pride and getting to kind of be out at work, I find this community of people who really like have the same experiences as me. They were kind of nervous about coming out. They didn't really know if this would be an accepting, diverse part of coming out, but even being in that employee resource group for me was like instrumental in being comfortable, coming out to my coworkers, coming out to my bosses, everything like that. But as well, I had a chance to engage with the community because we do volunteer projects, we do all of these things that really allow me to be still community focused apart from doing my job. Advice for coming out at work. I think do it if you want to. Don't let anybody force you to come out. Don't feel obligated to come out. But if you want to come out at work, then definitely find an employee resource group, or if there's not one, find out like how you can get an employee resource group. I'm pretty sure someone in HR can tell you what to do, but employee resource groups at work really have been instrumental. And you'll find connections and networking and people maybe in different departments that'll help you grow and all of those things. Having gay friends at work. So the reality of the situation for me is I really had to separate, like, this is my job. Like, I come to do a job and I go home. Like, you're not my friend. Like, I don't want to really engage and do the happy hour and do the drinks, any of that kind of stuff. Like, when I was younger than I am now, I really had that attitude. But I think coming into this job and just showing up and being myself, being Black and gay, I kind of had the people that I needed to gravitate to me. They gravitated to me. We found each other. And it's kind of been really, it's an eye-opening experience for me of connecting with friends that I tell like my personal business outside of work about. And one of my strongest friendships that I actually have here in Atlanta is somebody that I met at work. So that's just crazy. I'm just not thinking about that. Yeah. What have I learned about being Black and gay out at work? So I've kind of learned it, and I knew this as well, and I think this kind of prevented me from coming out. At some of my former jobs is that there's still a lot of homophobia. Just being in a corporate work environment. And I call them like the corporate call center. Corporate call center gays is kind of what I call it. But I kind of feel like sometimes with my personality at work, I may not really come out and read as gay to people. So for some of my coworkers that are more flamboyant or that just are easy to read, I guess would be kind of the word for it. I kind of find myself in a position where I'm talking to a coworker and she said to me, she's like, I'm just happy that you're not flamboyant and you're not like one of those kind of gays that flaunt, your sexuality or whatever at work. And I kind of found myself still like I have to teach, and I don't want to put it to be in that position of like teach people that we're not all monolithic, we're not all the same, but I had to. It's like this is still my brother. We're black and gay. We're in this thing together. And he's expressing himself and his sexuality in the way that he knows how to. So it's not that he's flaunting his sexuality or doing this to make you uncomfortable. This man is simply coming to work to do a job, and he's living his life. And, you know, you don't have to comment on it, and it doesn't make me any better. It doesn't make him any less just because he is, quote unquote, flamboyant. You know, still my brother. So my experience of actually interfacing with people, like on the phone. So my job is primarily on the phone, 95% of the time. And some of these places that I call, I don't know how, but I guess it's the accent, and they can tell that I'm black. And then I've had customers that just flat out ask me like, "Are you gay?" Or I've had like the comments in the background, people like, "He sounds like a faggot," or all of these kind of things, and it's one of them gut check moments when it's like, Michael, I need this check. I need, like, I'm here to do a job, and I have to kind of put that to the side sometimes, and I'm kind of like reminding people like, hey, you know, we're an adult. We can have an adult conversation. All of that stuff has nothing to do with this conversation at hand. But it's a little bit jarring at times, like really when people make those comments or they ask those questions, because I'm like, that has nothing to do with the service that I'm providing for you, and I'm actually here to help you. So what I do outside of this phone call is none of your concern, but let's talk about what we got to talk about, because that's all that really matters. So as always, I want to hear from you. So make sure you put your comments below, like this video, subscribe, definitely tell a friend to tell a friend, and find us and follow us on all our social media. Twitter @Build and Desire, Facebook and Instagram, The Counter Narrative.